As you know, I am Tina Shayani. I am the founder of this group as well as the head coach at T-Shay Coaching, where we help people attract and build lasting, loving relationships. If you are watching this on replay, as I know many of you do, please leave a comment so that I know that you were here. It's always nice to hear your thoughts on the live. You can send me a personal message or you can comment down below, but it's always nice to have your feedback. If there is a particular topic that you want to discuss, please let me know. If I say something that resonates with you, please let me know. If you have questions during the live, questions, comments, whatever, you are more than welcome to ask them live. That's what makes the show even better when we have people that participate. So please feel free, if you have something to say, please say it. So let's jump right into this week's topic, which is the steps between single and happily ever after. You know, we live this life in a way that like we just kind of go through the motions and we wait for things to happen and we wait for life to happen to us. But here in Journey to Lasting Love, our goal is to take charge and live our life on purpose, to know what it is that we're doing, to know what it is that we want and live accordingly instead of living in a space of chaos that we're just trying to get through the day. We want to enjoy life and take charge of our lives and call into our lives the things that we want, the things that make us happy, the things that bring us joy. And we want to learn to live a better life. We want to have good relationships, right? It's all about relationships, but it's also about living better, being better, thinking better, and ultimately feeling better. Because why is it that we want a relationship? Why is it that we want anything? Because we believe that having that relationship, having that bag or that car or whatever it may be, or that coffee, we believe that that thing is going to make us feel better. So the ultimate goal is to feel better. And no matter how good life is, it's always better with good company. So we are here to attract a loving partner, to build good relationships. So how is it that we can get from single to happily ever after? Well, it's no accident. It's not miraculous. There are steps along the way that we can take to help us along that path, to lead us on that journey to happily ever after. And one key idea also is to enjoy the journey. That's why it's called Journey to Lasting Love. Like, we're not here just for the end game. If I could snap my fingers and give you that good feeling and give you that loving partner, it wouldn't be nearly as delicious as the journey itself. It wouldn't be so great as to go through and discover and to learn on your own. So what are the steps from getting from single to that happily ever after? The very first step is to know that you want it, to know that you want to be in a relationship and to define that relationship. Are you looking to be married? Are you looking for just someone to go to the movies with? Are you looking for someone to see once in a while? Everybody, depending on the stage of their life, is looking for something a little bit different. But for the sake of our conversation here, let's say that you are looking for marriage. And when I say marriage, I mean a life partner, someone that you can bring into your life and spend the rest of your life with and build a meaningful, lasting relationship. I want to say a loving relationship, but I feel like love has become this overused and abused word. So of course we want love, but we want more than love. We want the meaning. We want that soul connection, which has a deeper feel to it than love. So let's say that our end goal is that. to have a life partner, and we'll call it marriage just for simplicity of words. So first, define what it is that you're looking for. Know that I am looking for a relationship that leads to marriage. That is step number one. Know what kind of relationship it is that you're looking for. Step number two, give yourself the opportunity to meet people. It's one thing to say, oh, I want to get married, but then you don't do the things that will lead you to meeting different people. You have to have a volume of meeting opportunities, a volume of opportunity to meet lots and lots of different people, and understand that most of the people will not be for you, and that is okay. That is such a big takeaway here. If you meet someone and he doesn't like you, and you don't like him, or you don't like each other, or you really like him but he doesn't like you, be okay with that. Don't hold on to it as a personal offense that there is something wrong with me and him and the entire human race because I didn't like this person or that he didn't like me. Most people are not for you. There are people that listen to this live and listen to the show and look at what happens in the group, and that it really resonates with them and they really like it. And there may be some people that don't like it at all and think it's all a bunch of nonsense, and that's okay. My message is not for everyone, but it is for the people that it resonates with, and that is where my focus is, to the focus of who appreciates it. So when you go on a date, it's okay if he doesn't like you. That's a very important step because it can be very discouraging. I meet people, especially women, all the time that they will find a person and he is so clearly not for them, but in their utter desperation to be with someone, they will put up with just about anything, and that desperation is so unattractive. And that same man that was not good for them, was way below her pay grade, ends up rejecting you. It's such a big blow to the ego. So the point is, don't compromise yourself and be okay if you don't like someone or someone doesn't like you. That is a very important step. So let's backtrack for a minute and recount those steps. First, know what it is that you're looking for. Know what the end game is. What is your goal in dating? What is it that you're doing this for? Are you doing it because people tell you it's not good to be single? People tell you you need to get married? People will tell you all kinds of things, and let them say what they want. It is up to you to decide what you want. If you're perfectly happy with being single, then don't listen to anybody else. It's a matter of what it is that you want for your life. So that is step number one. Step number two is to give yourself the volume of opportunity to meet people and to find the person that you're going to have that special connection with. Step number three is to understand that most people you will not have that connection with, and be okay with that. And each failed date, which I don't believe that it's a failure because each opportunity is an opportunity to learn. Each date that you go on that doesn't work out brings you one step closer to that real and true connection that you are looking for. So don't get discouraged if a date doesn't work out. Keep going. Keep looking for opportunities to meet more new people, because that's how you're going to find your person. You're not going to find your person hiding in your basement talking about all the terrible experiences you've had over the years, all the nightmare dates. Those stories are funny, but by continuing to think about them and tell the story, you're calling in more of those experiences into your life. So just in a neutral way, be out there and see what you find. Be open to different things. The next step here is to know what it is you're looking for. Don't be willing to compromise everything. I'm not saying to not compromise anything, but don't compromise everything. Have a list, a short list or a long list, depending on you, of things that are non-negotiable, things that you must have. And the rest we can be flexible on. There is a woman that posts in a lot of the singles groups that I see. She's not one of my people, but I see her posting in different groups. And she says, I need a man who is over 6'2". This is her non-negotiable. Is it a great non-negotiable? Probably not, because she now has narrowed her pool for something superficial, and maybe there is a great guy out there for her who happens to be 5'8". It's something that he doesn't have control of. But there are some things that are non-negotiables. Like for me, when I was looking for someone, I needed someone who was an intellectual. That was something that was a non-negotiable for me. So if I went out with someone who was goofy and silly and whatever, goofy and silly was fun, but I knew that it wasn't for me. I needed someone that I could have intellectual sparring conversations with. So know what it is that is essential to you. What is your non-negotiable? And when you are meeting people, you will look for those things, people that check those boxes. But don't make your list of non-negotiables so long that there's no room for a compromise and there's no room for things that come into your experience that you didn't know you wanted. Sometimes on the outside, someone may appear that they are not for you, but on the inside, it's something very different. And that speaks to the example of looking for the guy who is over 6'2". So that is not the greatest non-negotiable. But then like the intellectual is a clear example of something that your soul needs in order to feel that connection. Sorry. Then the next thing is to take it one step at a time. I was on the phone with a younger person recently, and we were talking, and she said, oh, I met someone and I went through this whole list of like what it would look like for her to marry him. Meanwhile, she's in her early 20s, and all of a sudden I was 57 steps ahead of where we needed to be in the conversation. And I was like, wow, we need to reel this back. And so often we do that. We swipe on someone and decide, oh, I can't marry this guy. He's this. But we're taking too many steps at once, and we are in our heads. We need to get out of our own heads and come into the experience of meeting someone, of enjoying someone's company. So if somebody approaches you, talk to them. Are you enjoying the conversation? Is it a conversation that you want to continue? When you go on the first date, the only thing you have to decide is, do I want to go on a second date? Was this first date the caliber of which, did I enjoy it enough to want to go on the second date? And that's all you have to decide at that moment. Don't take it to the step of that you're having grandchildren together or that you're married and this, because who could possibly measure up to that? Someone who is a stranger, when we project all of these things to them, and we are really then living the life of an imagination, we're living in our own imagination, we are imagining this person into our lives when it's too many steps at once. So when you are on that first date, you need to decide, is it worth going on the second date? Do I want to spend one more evening with this person? And if the answer is yes, you go. But if the answer is no, you don't. but you don't not go on the second date because you say, I don't want to marry this person. Well, of course you don't want to marry him. He's a complete stranger. And sometimes on the first date, you may say, wow, this is the greatest guy I've ever met. I want to marry him. But on closer inspection, we realize that it was really not that person, but just our imagination that runs wild. So an important step is to stay out of your own head, is to not imagine and project all of these things on this person that you've just met, and to take it one step at a time, one evening, one day at a time. Did you enjoy the conversation? Do you want to continue the conversation? And then let it take its natural course. See where it goes, but don't be tied to an outcome. Don't cling in a desperate effort to not be alone. And then continue to date and for a certain period of time. Usually 2 to 3 months is enough time to know whether this person is for you or not for you. Don't stay indefinitely in a relationship that's not growing. When your goal is to get married, after 2 or 3 months, you need to assess and say, is this relationship the relationship that's going to take me to my ultimate goal? If the answer is yes, you continue. If the answer is no, that's your signal that it's time to walk away and start again. And it's scary. We often get so comfortable with just being with the person that we're with that we invest more time than we should in a relationship that we know is not going anywhere. So have that kind of mental time limit for yourself so that you can achieve your goal without wasting your time. Our time is so, so precious. And when we get invested in a relationship that is what we call here in Journey to Lasting Love, a space saver relationship, we are wasting our time, our energy, and our emotions, because then we need time to heal after the end of an even space saver relationship. So really be careful of how much of your time you are investing in a relationship. Is it going somewhere? Is it leading you to your ultimate goal, or is it not? And if the answer is no, it's time to move on. So these are the steps to know when to hold on and know when to let go. And this is where it becomes a little bit sticky sometimes, but if you have that end goal in mind, you can analyze the relationship as it unfolds, not 50 steps ahead in your imagination, but as it unfolds, you can look at it and say, where is it that I'm going? And we can have all the emotions, we can feel the feelings, but we could also then be logical and understand where our feelings are coming from. And that feeling is very important, but it's not everything. Feelings change over time. And when we find that person that we consider to be the one, the work is just beginning. The work is just beginning. Now that you have found your person, it's time to build and it's time to grow and make that relationship better every day. What happens with a lot of couples is that they find their person, they get together, and then they just kind of let it go. And they take their relationship and their loved one for granted. And then it all falls apart. And then there we are wondering what the heck happened. So even if you are at the point that you have found your person, the journey doesn't stop there. It's just the new beginning of building that relationship and making it better and bigger over time.